These are the voices of color. These are the faces of our community.
Traigo flores, traigo más flores, te traigo flores.
Comprehensive sexuality education.
The students that we work with have really identified this as an issue that they really care about. I think from sort of the outsider's perspective, we know that sexuality education is really an issue of equity, and as a reproductive justice organization, we're so committed to kind of working from the intersection.
Comprehensive sexuality education is a critical piece of what youth need to be successful in life. We need to ensure that the debates and strategies around sex ed include all of our communities, and that when we talk about sexuality education, we refer to it as a natural part of life.
The founders of Color saw that we needed sexuality education that was culturally proficient for the Latino community and addressed the way the issue was lived in the Latino community. So that, again, it wasn't enough just to learn about condoms and STDs, but we needed to learn about hope for the future and decision making and sense of self, and then it looked at sexuality education not from, oh, this is a horrible thing, don't do it, but rather acknowledging that most people in life will be sexual at some point, and so how do we help equip young people to be safe and healthy adults?
The greatest thing, I think, is that they have inspired me by helping me help the community. So it's like the recycling process where everything just goes around and around.
Engaging different stakeholders around our work is a critical part of what we do.
I think one way in which Color's work has been really impactful, has been successful, has been a model for others, is that we've been able to involve kind of unusual suspects in our work. Often when you think about sexuality education or reproductive justice, you think of the mainstream organizations, people who openly advocate for abortion rights, who openly provide sexuality education. We've been really lucky but really successful in involving people who believe in education reform and believe that something has to change in order to equip young Latinos to be successful in the academic world and in the employment world.
So the benefits of partnering up with an organization like Color for 9 to 5 is definitely being able to put a bridge between, or create a bridge between youth organizing and young women organizing and what is generally considered women organizing. I think that for 9 to 5, as we work for economic justice in the workplace and workplace flexibility, the reproductive justice framework doesn't end with Color. It continues with 9 to 5. We can't work for reproductive justice, or we can't work for workplace rights when we don't consider reproductive justice issues. And reproductive justice organizations can't do reproductive justice issues without taking into consideration incorporating workplace flexibility and anti-discrimination in the workplace for women, especially women with kids or women who want to get pregnant, or individuals of the LGBT community. So I think that being able to work together and cross silos and being able to complement each other's missions and each other's issues is hugely beneficial, especially when we can show, look, we are a workplace rights organization and we are partnering very well with a reproductive justice organization. It just helps frame the holistic approach to really being able to live as a whole individual better.
I think Color definitely brings in a perspective that is often overlooked in statewide coalitions that come together around an issue, because sometimes we can be really singularly focused on just that issue.
I think people should get engaged in this work because We see sexuality education as an entry point for making change in the community. I think people can get their heads around teen pregnancy and, oh, we should do something about that. They can get their heads around, we need to teach young people about sex so they'll be prepared to be adults. And that's, I think, one way then to open up a whole larger world of policy change and activism that needs to happen to not only realize comprehensive, culturally proficient, fact-based, holistic sexuality education, but also, immigrant rights and economic justice and rights for the LGBT community and that whole broad agenda that we include within reproductive justice.
I believe that other people should get involved in the work that Color is doing because I really see sexuality education, comprehensive sexuality education, is about young people and families and communities being healthy. And I don't think that there's anyone who's not really a stakeholder in that process. I don't think there's anyone really, when we frame it that way, who doesn't care about young people being healthy and successful.
Traigo flores, traigo más